Good evening, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, Final Fantasy Double Dragon Irongol fans. This is a title match between Team Thunderalot, Thunderclawed, and Irongol taking on a couple of ducks and Team Fade to Brak, Deadpool, and Fryteeth. You can see that we've got some interesting party comps here. Looks like Fighter, Thief, and Black Belts. What do you think about these parties, Rock Solid?
Hi, Caleb. Yeah, I think that I can only see one party so far, which is the Fighter, Thief, Double Black Belt that Irongol has got going. And I think the choice here is going to be, who do you want to double up on? Do you want to double up on your Black Belt and potentially be dealing more damage in that late game? Or are you more concerned about defense and do you go with the Double Fighter, soaking up lots of hits? Mm-hmm. One of the benefits of a shard hunt is that we're going to be opening lots of boxes, so those fighters could be good. They're going to have good gear, but you've got the experience edge on me, Caleb. What's your preference?
I really like the party that we're seeing with the Fighter, Thief, Double Black. We were talking a little bit of the booth. I'm sorry I didn't really do a good introduction. I'm joined in the booth by Rock Solid 84. We got Shadowed doing the tracking for us. These flags are a trip because normally you'd think the Double Fighter is really good because you're opening all these boxes. You're going to get a ton of equipment for those to equip. You're going to get this is the first time we're seeing Black Belt and co-op. Usually they're banned, so you may be wondering why we're not bringing any mages. Well, they're not allowed. In addition to them not being allowed, we're not able to promote. So that Fighter or Thief aren't going to be able to learn magic upon promotion. So you might be wondering where we're going to get all our magic, and it's coming from our weapons. We're playing with an experimental flag to turn on item magic for every weapon in the game. So, sounds awesome. It is awesome, but it's also sort of confusing because if we open up and we find a Lightning 2 +1 item, we don't know what it is. We're going to have to take that to a weapon shop, try to sell it, push select, and see what the stats are and see who's going to equip it, because it might be the Masa hiding. Now, there are some weapons that we can recognize right away. If they have like a hammer-like icon or a nunchuck icon, we can start figuring out what kind of weapon they are and who might be able to swing them. But if we start finding some like high-powered stuff, it's going to be interesting to see, because we're only going to be able to have 4 spells per character, and that we have 4 item slots, so 4 weapon slots on each character. So it's going to be interesting to see which weapons are for sale with what spells attached to them and which ones we find out in the wild, because out in the boxes we have randomized treasures with just normal wealth, so we might find like 8 Masas. Probably won't, but we might. You also see on the screen we have a free boat. We're all standing on a free airship. We also have a free canoe. So the world is literally our oyster. Rock Solid, when you're given this much choice at the gate, where do you think about going?
So normally in a situation like this, my priority is going to be, I'm going to find a black magic sweeper. And with floor and entrance shuffle, that means you're looking for resources wherever you can get them so that you can then go buy that in one of the towns. But here's another thing. Not only are the floors and entrances are shuffled, but the towns are shuffled too. Mm-hmm. And we don't have any mages. So we're basically going to be looking for any boxes that can get us geared so that we can kill something. I think that's going to be my first thought. I'm going to be looking for an entrance that is really nice. I mean, it'd be great if I saw Garland right away off the bat at Corneria Castle, but who knows if you're going to get that. It's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, we're checking those item shops if we do find an early town to find an item that's got a black magic sweeper on it that we can afford. That's going to be something I'm going to be going after like gold. But of course, for the late game too, I'm going to be thinking in the back of my mind, okay, if I see an invis item, if I see a temper item, a saber item, that's what I'm going to be looking for. And here we go with some curative magic in the weapon shop.
So right away, Cure 3 +1 nunchucks, awesome. Cure 3 at this level of the game is basically Cure 4. We also have a saber sword right away. So in-game spells out the gate, important to find. We've found our first dud location in Canary Castle. We find another dud location in Bahamut, although we might want to keep that in the back of our mind because objective NPCs are shuffled. So some folks call it Dr. Shuffle. So Bahamut may not be Bahamut. It may be Dr. Un. It may be the Elf Doctor from Elfland Castle. So curious to see which one of our runners on stream is going to walk up and see what NPC is there. But we get our first chunk from Fryeteeth in the sky floor, and Link just bounces out of Bahamut as well. So right away, both runners jumping into the Cardia Islands, finding trouble. Interesting, though, we do have an often unused flag with save game when game over. I say often unused because we don't really see it often in sort of restream races. You might see it in async races or other sort of like one-off Irongol sort of shenanigans races, but here it's a super strong safety net, especially with this limited party still looking for that sweeper item where we got a stun stick. And there's our first loose key item, and there's the key, and you see Link just kind of hanging out waiting for Thunder to get that. Of course, all key items are going to be shared. Chunks will not be shared. Slab translation will be shared, so when we find out where the doctors are shuffled into, if we know where, like, say if Dr. Un is in the Bahamut entrance that we just found, and we happen to find Lefane, we can have somebody just kind of hang out and wait for that slab translation to come through. And there's Fryeteeth finding a Zap Sword. Huge. Yeah,
that is huge. And there's a lot of really great stuff. Fryeteeth is really happy right now because he's basically got all the levels he needs. There's a power cycle eye on this floor of sky that he's leaving. So he can just basically save up here and go in and take eyes to his heart's content and get all the levels he wants.
Yeah. And you can see him sort of figure out what he wants to do. He wants to make sure that he's taking accurate notes for his teammate, letting him know where, hey, I found the Zap Sword. Now, I hope that he let that wipe happen before he reset and he still has that Zap Sword. I did see him take... Go ahead.
Sir Linkalot running into that problem that you pointed out at the beginning where he found a lit sword, but he doesn't know what it is. He tried to equip it and it didn't work, so he's going to have to use that shop information flag, I think, to figure out what's going on there.
Yep, and there's a fog stick and pro capes for Fryeteeth, and there's an ice 2 stick, so we're piecing together our offensive playbook. We have defensive weapons, and there's Thunder getting the Zap Sword. So, and with this key, Thunder's going to be able to check the door of an armory.
Yeah, that's probably going to be a good haul. Dead Pulse is struggling a little bit in this sky floor. He just took a wipe to some whiz vamps and just got stoned by some chimeras and has got one character left. But he is checking less than or greater than, and Thundercloud finds a crown loose in the Dwarf Treasury next to Oxyale.
And
no less.
Dead Pulse finds the bottle. So, interesting thing, we're talking a little bit in the sort of the Speed Gaming Live green room about what we can expect with these flags. Because with the free transportation items, what's going to be the troll here? Is it going to be Topher? Is it going to be finding ribbons? Like, there's going to be something that kind of holds us in place while we figure out what we're going to do. So until we find Topher, we're sort of in trouble. Until we find loot, now that we have the key, loot and key are going to be required. We are dealing with a long Topher. That Topher is going to be deep. So what can be the roadblocks there? The roadblocks are going to be those gating items that we talked about, Rock Solid. So what were those again?
So we are on the lookout for the Oxyale so that we can get into the on-rack location. We also want to make sure that we have the chime so that we can get into the Mirage location. So those are the two off the map that you're looking for. Beyond that, you can also run into certain floors that are blocked. And we just saw one on Sir Linkalot's screen, or rather we saw the item. So there is a cube block, which you can come across, which stops you from going any farther. Now, Sir Linkalot just got that cube. There's also the potential that you can come across the rod block. I don't believe we've seen the rod yet. That's something that could slow our runners down if they don't have it.
And Thunder, thank you for explaining that. That was spot on. Thunder found Gaia, and within Gaia found lit 3+4 chucks. Ooh. So Lit 7 chucks. Let's go.
Not only that, but if those are iron nunchucks, that's not a half bad weapon to be using with your black belt for
not
a
at all.
while.
Not at all. I mean, definitely, probably would rather just cast Lightning 3, but it would work if we were hit with mute or mute touch. Double check the flags. We are dealing with shuffle status attacks, but not random status attacks. So those sorcerers won't have death touch, but somebody will. Somebody will have death touch. Somebody will have the one stone touch. But that mute touch that is so closely tied to randomized status attacks will not be there. No one's going to be telling us to be quiet tonight.
Fair enough. And look, if you ever want a tutorial on how to run Marsh Bottom when you've got the key, Sir Linkalot's putting on a clinic right now as he finds another trap tile or this one's the 3-eye grind. This is the trap tile. This is the best thing you could possibly hope for.
And here comes Thunder with his Lightning 3 chucks to just make quick work of this. The eyes, though, don't have the kindest script. Ironically, the eyes have Squint and Dazzle, both sort of thematic with the eye enemy. And there's Thunder,
of course,
getting squinted at by these eyes, and just resets instead of taking the reset wipe to keep anything that he's found. But I'm astonished by the route convergence here, and you see a rookie mistake there on Sir Linkalot's side, walking into the third room on the bottom floor. That room, key lock, doesn't have a box in it. So it's a rookie mistake, rock solid. You hate to see it.
I take it back. I take it back. We were hoping we were going to get the clinic, but we got a little bit of what not to do, and Caleb was right there for us to make sure that we knew. So that's good.
I'm just giving Sir Link a little hard time. He's a good sport. Likes to talk smack when he beat me and Ale last week in the championship match and dethroned us. I mean, I'm not salty. Why would anybody be salty about that? It's just, the only time I've really held an Irongol belt like that. But it's fine.
I was going to bring that up. We are, in fact, looking at a match between the number one contender, Team Fade to Brak, and the current champs, Team Thunderalot. And the current champs, Team Thunderalot, did take the title away from you, Caleb, and Ale 2 weeks ago in another great race. So how does it feel to be watching someone who's recently taken your title defend? Are you rooting for them or against them?
I'm not. As the kids would say, I'll keep it 100 with you. I want to see Fry Teeth and Deadpools put on an upset, and I say it's an upset because Thunder and Link are such phenomenal runners that there's no way that they are not an odds-on favorite for this. Thunder is the runner-up in the SG Live tournament. He finished in the top 4 of the spring tournament last year. Linkalot, the reigning Duck Derby, or the reigning Duck Derby champion. Yeah, the new Duck Derby coming up very soon. So Thunder and Link are astonishingly good at this game, and we saw how well they worked together in the co-op tournament this summer, where they won the co-op championship. So really good runners. They're going to execute well. Every race that they run together, their communication is getting stronger, getting faster, getting better. But Fry Teeth and Deadpools, Cinderella story. These two ducks coming out of nowhere to just blow the doors off the Double Dragon, and I want to see them do it. It's going to be awesome. Regardless, it's going to be awesome. These flags that we're running are fresh from the mind of Fry Teeth. So if they blame the flags, they can blame Fry Teeth. But they look interesting. Oops All Loose is a fun way to play the game. It's impossible to track, so big shout outs to Shadow for doing his best. But yeah, I mean, got a ribbon there for Thunder and the Canarian Armory. I think it's going to be a remarkable match. We are playing with the win condition that both runners must defeat Chaos. And that sounds easier than it likely will be with this party comp. I mean, the double black belt will be nice, and we see, I think, is everybody running double black belt? I missed Fry Teeth's party comp.
Thunderclawed is running 2 fighters, and I'm not sure about Fry Teeth.
Thunder's running double fighter, double black belt. So no thieves, but everyone else.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Deadpool and Link are running what we talked about in the green room, the fighter, thief, double black belt. I'm waiting to see if Fry Teeth's getting combat. And he's running the same party. So Thunder really the only one with his foot all the way on the gas.
Yeah, and I like that from Thunder. I mean, you got to do something to differentiate yourself from the pack. I would, like you, be looking at that thief because I like the ability to run away, especially in the early game, but it doesn't seem to be slowing Thunderclawed down at all. Reese Wolf pointing out in chat that he would go for the 3-eye over the power cycle eye grind. Well, either way you slice it, that's a great grinding option, and the thief becomes pretty academic after that.
Mm-hmm. Link hits the Onrak continent and finds a Titan's tunnel and heads into the waterfall. So there's Crescent Lake. So free key item check. This isn't going to... Okay, there's a chime for sale. So that is actually sort of cheeky. So main NPCs are turned off, which means the shop item, which is traditionally a main NPC, for the way the randomizer considers NPCs, that could have been anything under the sun. If it were not a key item, it would have been like another heal pot, another pier pot, another tail tent. So for the key item NPC in the shop to actually roll a key item is not that common. So sort of interesting. It's very similar to when you have Oops All Loose and you turn something in and you get something in return. It's like, wait a minute, I wasn't anticipating this. So
yeah, of course we've seen a lot of those dud traditional incentive spots. The King of Corneria, for example, giving us a house. I was wondering if we were playing Skyrim or Final Fantasy. We saw 611 gold, I think, from the chest in Marsh. That often has an incentive in there. I wanted to point out, too, those Lit 3 chucks were for sale in Gaia, and Sir Linkalot has stocked up on them. They've been doing work for him.
Yep, and Fryte's working his black belt grind, eating some sandwiches here on this sandworm tile. Not a bad play at all. Gonna get C4 up to snuff pretty quick, and they're falling to the Lightning 3 chucks. So
yeah, I think this is a crime of opportunity, so to speak. Fryte found himself with everybody else down. He realized that the sandworms were a little bit papery and going for the levels. Love it. You want to have that taken care of as soon as you can, and Fryte does.
Yeah. I do also. So I was bringing up the party comps because I wanted to talk about our boss and enemy scaling. So enemies they have their stats clamped. So 100 to 200%, meaning all of the enemies are going to hit as hard as they do in the vanilla game, if not twice as hard. However, their HP is variable, 50 to 200%. So being able to split those out in the randomizer is a feature, I think, new as of like 2 iterations ago. I want to say like 3.2, the randomizer started doing that. Maybe 3.1. But bosses are boss stats scaling between 100% and 350%. So we're more than likely going to have max evade bosses with high absorb that hit real hard and have a ton of HP, because our HP scaling is set from 250% to 350%. So this is going to be a scary end game. And on top of all of it, a flag that we're so used to playing with now, the lock fixes, where lock is guaranteed to hit and reduce evasion on bosses by 20 with every cast, is not guaranteed. It's set to 162 accuracy, which gives it about a 50-50 shot to hit. So with that in mind, Rock Solid, how do you prepare for this end game?
I do it. I do it by focusing on the black belts. You were asking me earlier on, would I take the 2 fighters or would I take the 2 black belts? And I wasn't really sure back then, but having gotten going here, I was starting to understand that the 2 black belts is really critical, because even if you find the best armor in the game, you're not necessarily going to be able to wear it. There's no tail in this seed, so we can't necessarily upgrade those fighters to knights and wear that dragon armor, wear those high opal and aegis and whatnot. So with bosses that are going to be 100% and maybe up to 350%, you need to have absolute monsters on your side. And the only way that I know how to do that is to get a level 42 plus black belt, maybe 2 of them.
Yeah, it's a strong play. Especially as Reese Wolf in chat points out, we aren't even guaranteed access to lock because we don't know what weapons or what spells rolled onto the weapons. So
yeah, now we did see, I believe it was a saber sword early on. I don't know if we've seen any of the defensive buffs. Those would be really handy to come across the defense sword or something that casts ruse, essentially.
Yeah, we do not have a guaranteed ruse item either. So a spellcasting item flag that is typically on is with regard to some of these sort of like championship challenge matches, you're almost always expecting to see insert ruse item where the game takes I think it's the power stick. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the power stick. It swaps the power stick for an item that always casts ruse. That is turned off. And item magic is turned on, so our defense sword isn't guaranteed either.
Yeah, absolutely right. It is the power staff that gets turned into the ruse stick. Now, I wanted to just point out, Deadpulse gave us a good solid look at his inventory screen a moment ago, and it was looking pretty good. I mean, I saw Cure 4 in there on almost all of his characters. We know that some of those other great spells have been found. Really, the ruse one is the only one I'd really love to see that I haven't yet.
And Danny pointing out that we have an Invis 2 +4 staff in Provoca. And Thunderclawed has found Temple of Fiends. I missed which entrance he walked into to find this, but it was purple, so I'm thinking it's Elfland or Elfland Castle. And there's a ruby. So trolley Topher location's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, I was just checking over to see if I could dig out where that Temple of Fiends location is, but I'm not sure. Chat pointing out a couple of good points in here and asking the question, ruse itself or some level of evade. So the way the ruse spell works is it actually gives you 2 stacks of evade on whoever uses it. That's in comparison to Invis or Invis 2, which both only give 1 stack of evade. 6 stacks of evade will get you to the max, so any combination of rusing and invising that gets you up to 6 will make you very hard to hit. Yeah. Of course, the bosses can still hit if they crit.
Yep, that is the only way they'll do damage, which, is nice to have Fog, I guess, available for that. Fog will sort of eat into some damage from the crits, but yeah, you're right. So the Invis grants 20 stack of evasion, or 20 points of evasion. Invis gives you 40, ruse gives you 80. So you want to jump up to that 240 number. Between that magical evade plus the evade on your armor will put you at evasion cap, where enemies and bosses need to hit critically to damage you. Also a really effective way to deal with Death Touch. One of the only really effective ways to deal with it.
Well, they can't kill you if they can't hit you, right? You mentioned the other defensive spell, the less loved fog spells, which don't usually see a lot of utility, but maybe in a situation like this, you want that extra safety.
Now, Thunderclaw just found a second ribbon here in this Cardia Treasure floor on the bottom of Marsh Split, as Deadpulse translates the slab for the lols. Question from ex-Russian Bishop, good to see you, regarding can evade overflow. Evade can overflow if we turn, I'm looking for the exact naming of the flag. wrap overflowing scaled stats. It is in the scaling section of the Randomizer website. I've seen it overflow. I've seen birds fighting me in chat. There's always somebody that wants to fight you in chat. Rock solid.
Yes. But are we naming any names here? Is that what's going on?
Oh, it can't overflow for players. Okay, but I've seen like temper overflow and sort of wrap back around where like you're not doing a whole bunch of damage. So maybe that's been fixed, and maybe I'm just thinking of old like 2.4 randomizer. But yeah.
That's just fine. Caleb, no, don't worry about it. I have no idea what you mean when you say that sometimes people fight with commentators from chat. It sounds like entirely... I would never know anybody who would try anything like that.
Oh, it's funny. I forget who I was talking to about this, but it was Woat. Woat was one of the notorious people. Or no, I was talking to Woat about it, and Cheesenator would always show up. Overcorrect Woat. But we always have very knowledgeable viewers in the crowd, many of whom are active within the community. And it's always fun.
It's a great community.
Yeah.
It's a great community, and I'm new here, but I've noticed that people do tend to just kind of jump in and say whatever's on their mind, and that's awesome. You know, it makes for a much more dynamic viewing experience.
And Fryteeth digs up the rod here and the Agama floor. Ironically, as Sir Linkalot finds the rod floor. So we're seeing a lot of towns being dug up. We've seen Onrak here in Titans East. I'm trying to think. I don't think we've seen Lefane yet. And there's, ironically, Titans West is Titans West. And Thunder working the eyes over with his black belts. I guess with 2 ribbons, I mean, these eyes aren't scary. And they're falling to about 200 damage. Yeah, about 200 damage is taking them out. So...
Yeah, so Thunderclaw's going with the 3-eyed grind, and I mean that's money right there. That's going to do well for him. Fryteeth is struggling with some vampires and whiz-vamps right now, though, and I'm not sure if this is a grind or just a random encounter, but I think we've seen him take this fight more than once. Yes, he is doing that grind at the Agama spot in Volcano.
It's a dangerous grind. Typically, vampires punch real hard, and when they have up to 200% strength, they're going to punch even harder. But we're safe because we have the save game when game over. So there's really no consequence to grinding here. We know where Topher is. We have 2 ribbons, and we've got 2 black belts and more than one sort of grind situation. So Thunder, I think, is going to be in Topher like the minute he finds all of their 36 shards. Now, needing 36 shards will require killing vanilla fiends. So we're going to have to find Tiamat. We're going to have to find the Kraken floor, which I believe we've seen the Kraken floor. I think it was somewhere. That's very accurate. Let me look at these notes. I know Shadow taking the good notes.
Titans East is on rack, but I'm not sure if that means Kraken floor. I think it doesn't.
It was the Crescent Lake entrance was Kraken. So, and Northwest Castle was Lich floor. So we're still looking for the Bridge of Destiny, still looking for Carrie's floor, which I thought we saw. I think I saw Deadpool's pull Carrie. But yeah. A lot of action happening here. A lot of chatter in chat talking about the upcoming Duck Derby, which starts in just a couple of days, Rock Solid.
Oh, I know. I've been practicing.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're watching Fryteeth and Deadpool, 2 other participants in that Duck Derby. So what was your approach to practicing for that coming up?
Basically, I just take the flag sets, which have been published in advance by our Duck Don, Gregory Puff, and I just roll random seeds and I run them. So, you know, with juggling different priorities in life and so on, I've only been able to practice the first 2 weeks so far. I haven't even seen the third and fourth ones yet. But I've done a ton of the first two, and it's been a learning process. Each time that I run, there's usually a lesson that I learn, like I'll do something really slowly, and then I'll go, okay, I need to know, for example, today, I realized that the orbs don't light up in order in the menu. So if you get into a situation where you forget which orb you've lit, and you press start and you go and you look at your menu screen, it doesn't follow a logical order in terms of which ones are lit up. So now I know that it's bottom right, top left, top right, bottom left. And it's just little things like that that put together add up to faster times. All of that said, I don't know how I'm going to compete with Fryteeth, Dead Pulse, Rubes, and the rest. Their times are just amazing. Usually 20 to 30 minutes faster than I'm able to do.
You got to stop calling it the duck pond and start calling it the Shark Tank, because there are some killers in there. But we have questions out there asking about the Duck Derby. That sign-up's still open. Yes, sign-ups are still open. If you're new to the game, new to the community, and want to participate, hop on the Discord at FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. You can join the Discord. Within the Discord, there are links to the Duck Derby signups and all that stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern on all of our broadcast partners, SpeedGaming, Randomizer, RPG Limit Break. It's going to be a wild time. Thunderclaw's still poking these eyes. Sir Link doing the exploration. Deadpool's taking grinds where he finds them. And Fryteeth looks like they might be in the same entrance. They both have that ice cave background, which the battle background is usually tied to the entrance. So we're going through the Q block. Okay. Yeah, I think we're both in the same. Yeah. I think this next floor the Dead Pulse will lead to the ice cave loop, which ironically is in the ice cave entrance. I love when that happens.
Hey, sometimes Randomizer is going to randomize back to vanilla. A little bit of French vanilla going on. Dead Pulse took out a few packs of Gurmedusas just on the way. That's a nice walking grind. Not sure where Dead Pulse is at from a Dead Pulse perspective, but certainly that's going to help.
I'm going to try to get a look into the menu screens and see where we are with orbs as Link making his way through the non-procedurally generated waterfall. And for a second I thought it was. I was like, man, this is a mean proc gen waterfall. But nope, that's just vanilla waterfall. Your eyes start playing tricks on you after a while.
Yeah, sometimes the hardest waterfall to run can be the run out of vanilla waterfall.
Yeah.
That's the one that you're not used to doing, because you usually have warp or exit when you go in there. And if you've got to do that run out, it's kind of like, oh, wait a second. I know the way in, but how do I get out again?
And luckily for us, we have the save game on game over. So if there's a decent fight on that spike tile, we could have used that to our advantage, but it's just a Hydra. And we find a loose herb, and the robot gives us starting money.
Yeah, so nice to get an incentive item in there. It certainly wasn't guaranteed. Shadowed Flames are Chacker shouting in chat to Out of Bounds Bat, who must have made the appearance down in the bottom of waterfall screen. I didn't see it, but I guess that's what's going on there. All
right, so we're at about a half hour in. I want to see these levels on Thunder's black belts. Still rocking these Lightning 3 chucks. Love it.
Yeah, I feel like the last time I looked up Thunder screen, he was grinding these, and he must have gone and done some other things, because if he'd been grinding those all this time, certainly he'd be higher than 31.
Yeah, he took a couple fights and left and did other stuff, and now he's just settled into this while Link explores the world and finds the chunks. I would imagine that Link is taking notes on all of the chunks he finds, so Thunder can just swoop in right behind him and pick them all up, and they'll just switch spots.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. The advantage of running a co-op run, of course, is that not only do you automatically share any key items that you find, but you're talking in Discord and you can share information. So that's what they are doing. It's helpful that they can switch off like this. Then whoever's leveled up can go to Topher and relay back any information about any tricky spots or things to watch out for.
Yeah. Because we're still looking for. My comfort level would immediately increase as soon as we find a lock item. something to tamp down those bosses' evasion.
Yeah, they certainly could roll high on evasion with the scaling that we've got. But it's pretty much just going to come down to the luck of whether or not we come across one. I mean, is that something you would really want to go out of your way to keep hunting for if you had everything else?
No, I wouldn't keep hunting for it, but I would be happy to find one. You know, we've got the 2 ribbons, we've got 2 big black belts. And the other like irony is, or not irony, or like nice to have is that every time we do dive Topher, there's all those wonderful fights along the way that are going to get us a ton of XP as we go down, and we're going to keep that XP every time we wipe on Chaos or Tia or Kraken. But Deadpool's pulling Lich, going to get those 2 free shards, we hope, and spamming looks like he's got a Harm 4 item. A Harm 4 -3 sword. I think the math works out to just be a basic Harm sword. Now I
don't think it works like that, as Lich comes out with Blaze.
Now, I would be tempted to fire off zaps here, because the HP is going to be high. The MDEF is not high, so Lich almost as susceptible to zap as he is to cake. It's a really good alternative strategy if you don't have cake and you need to instantly kill Lich.
Yeah, it's not a problem that you're used to having, a gatekeeping Lich.
Yeah, because this Lich is going to have around 1,000 HP. And this could be a lot of harm for us to get through that. But we might do it if Lich stays away from those spells and skills. And we get good turn order.
Yeah, it looks like Deadpool is well on his way.
Yeah, there's a good roll there for almost 300 damage. Harm 4 will almost do fade damage, but there's the Ice 2. And that softens us up for the Blaze. But Harm 4 comes through and takes it out. So 2 free chunks here for Deadpulse.
Yeah, well, I bet he's happy to have that. And speaking of softening things up, Sir Linkalot finds out that the R-Hydras have Stone Touch and doesn't seem to have any soft potions. So he's headed out of there to get them back up and running.
A fun fact about Stone Touch and save on game over is if your whole party gets stoned, you wake back up on the world map, everybody's unstoned. So there's that.
I thought you were going to make some kind of joke there. Magashima in chat asking, what exactly are the chunks? The chunks are, well, we call this a shard hunt. So imagine the 4 orbs have all smashed into pieces, and we have to run all over the world finding the pieces of the orbs in order to get into Temple of Fiends. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're dealing with here. The shards have a random name. It's just a little bit of fun. They can be chunks, they can be shards, they can be blanking on some of the other names.
Bigs, wedges, slices, prisms, espers.
Okay, so
jewels. I have not seen an egg seed. If there's an egg seed, somebody needs to send it to me.
That would be pretty great. So they are really essential to find. The only way that you can get them is either by finding them in boxes or by taking out the original 4 fiends and standing on their altars. So if you stand on Lich or Carrie's altar, you will get 2 shards for free. If you stand on Kraken or Tiamat's altar, you will get 4 shards.
Yep. And I like that you said on their altar, because it's not the boss that you kill that gives you the shards, it's lighting the orb on that floor. So if you had Fiend Shuffle on and you found Carrie on the Kraken floor, that Kraken floor is still going to give you 4 shards, not 2. It's not linked to Carrie, it's linked to the floor it's on.
Yeah, and so that's a key early knowledge, especially if the fiends are shuffled. Sometimes you can get 4 shards pretty free. I think we're going to get our first look at the chests in these key-locked marsh rooms as Frykeith takes on some mummies and cockatrices.
Yeah, so we saw Thunder come here and check this out, because this is Ruby, and I think bottom right was something else, because I'm really good at describing things. But we're going to check out Tiamat here on Thunder Screen with the Bridge of Destiny. He's got 7 shards, but he's got a couple of high-powered. And here we go. We're going to try to zap. And what are we going to do? We're going to try to zap and rub, carry, and punch. So, first blackout punch for 95 damage. There's a big indicator that Topher's going to be a problem.
Ooh, this Tiamat's going to be a problem. Hitting hard and with poison touch.
So, second attack from the black belt is 6 hits, 882. So, this tells me that Tiamat is high on evade, but not max evade, so probably somewhere in like the 180, 190 evasion. Just enough to be annoying and get a lot of like single hits with low damage, but every now and then you'll break through and all your hits will land. But 2 hits, 290, so we're chipping away at Tiamat's health. At 6 hits, 645, much better. But again, we're looking at a potentially 3,000 HP Tiamat here. And 2 hits for another 200, and there we go. 5 hits, 698. So I was gonna say we're averaging almost 1,000 damage around. So Thunder gonna get a big shard pickup here as Sir Link is poking some eyes.
Yeah, I was actually just about to mention Sir Link a lot. We're seeing a little bit of strategy here. Early on, when he got those 2 Light Warriors stoned, I thought he was leaving because he wanted to get them back up. But it looks like Sir Link a lot was taking advantage of that opportunity to go and really power level those black belts. And then whenever Sir Link a lot wants, he can just use some softs and bring the fighters back into the mix.
So big find here for Fryteeth. He's going to get eyes on the second ribbon. So they should be sitting pretty comfortably. They like as far as their knowledge goes. They have knowledge of 2 ribbons. They found Topher. They know that it's not locked or gated. Carry being gated could be problematic, but it just might mean we have to open more boxes.
Why would carry being gated be a problem? Because we don't need to take out carry. And
I'm
it's only
thinking
2 shards.
if 36 shards, I believe, is the max where you are required to kill all of the fiends to get 36. I might be mistaken there, but I think all 4 fiends might be required because of. Okay, so shadowed in chat. There's 32 shards in boxes, so cool. Today I learned. But Thunderclaw finds
so we
another
don't
ribbon
necessarily need to kill all the fiends, but we might still do it simply because it's faster than opening every single box in the game.
And Bert Reynolds coming in with the real knowledge. There are 44 total in the game. So I want 44 shards to be an option now. I want you to have to find all 44 of them.
Hundo randomizer.
Yeah, right. Full clear percent win.
So Thunderclawed getting a whole lot of nothing in that 6-box
there was room. There was a chunk, but
I missed that. Chat asking, is there ever more than 1 shard in a box? And no, there is not. To the best of my knowledge, you can only ever get the 1.
Yep. Just like you can only ever get 1 sword out of a box. You can only ever get 1 heal potion out of a box. Yep. I want to see the day when, like, go ahead.
No, that's fine. Sorry to interrupt. I was just gonna kind of ask, generally speaking. Here we are at the 39-minute mark, and we've seen a lot on the screen. We've seen shard pickups. We've seen most of the endgame items, and we've seen grinds for just about everybody. Do you feel like either of these teams has an advantage at this point?
No. We see that Thunderclaw, they have a lot more key items lit up. That doesn't mean anything with these flags. Both teams know where Topher is. Both teams are running very similar parties. Both teams have knowledge on at least 2 ribbons and know where those eyes are. No team is going to be able to bring anybody back to life in Topher. And it's just going to come down to like whoever finds the most shards. And right now, I think Fade to Brak has the shard advantage. As you see, Fryteeth picks up a couple more here in Sky 3. So it's going to be interesting. If Fryteeth and Deadpoles can get into Topher before Thunderclawed and Sir Link-a-Lot, and they make a run and Topher's not scary, there could be a problem where for Team Thunderalot, if you over prepare, if you spend too much time grinding and you didn't really need it, which can be sort of a crutch of the veteran player. That's like when you're playing flags like this, you start thinking 10 miles down the road with what Topher could be like I was doing at the beginning of this broadcast. It's very possible that bosses rolled low or rolled very safe scripts that aren't really that nasty, and we can just get through them fairly quickly, fairly easily. Now, if that's the case, and whichever team dives Topher first, they're going to be able to immediately relay that to their partner and just jump in with both feet into Topher, and hopefully they can just RNG through it. As Bert told me once, we were prepping for Chaos Rush back during Fall League. Sometimes the end game is a slot machine, and you just got to lean into the RNG. And if that's the case with these Topher bosses, then it could just be first one into Topher wins. If one team decides that they want to play it a little safe, they want to get extra levels, they want to find ribbons for everybody, they want to make sure that they have lock and the invis sticks and stuff like that, then it could be a problem where our preparation hurts us. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned earlier that with the save on game over flag on, it really is to your advantage to dive Topher early because, well, you'll just end up basically doing a grind in Topher. Topher's got good experience down there. Hopefully I would expect that these runners would know that. And so hopefully we won't see too much over preparation. Want to point out, chat adding to our discussion about who's in the lead, based off of Shadowed Flame's unofficial count of the shards, which I would not be surprised if it was very accurate, that would put Fryteeth and Deadpulse in the lead according to shards. However, as Reeswolf points out, Thunderalot doesn't have the loot yet. So that's an important progression item that they would need in Topher, and they don't have it. So we're really looking at an even Stevens type of situation right now, and I think you're right. I think it just boils down to who gets into Topher first.
And it's interesting. We were talking about that at the beginning of the game, that loot was going to be our biggest required key item. And looking at our tracker notes, it looks like it was in Ordeals, in the incentive box. So that's not an incentive Ordeals location. It's just where it happened to be. So, time to buy some Saber swords for everybody. So,
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I thought I saw Link or Thunder going through Ordeals, but maybe they wiped out before getting to that box and just decided not to go back. But until we see their item screen, you can't say for sure that they don't have it. But I thought I saw one of them in Ordeals. Okay,
well, maybe they do. It would be awful luck if one of them did get in there and then decide for some reason, oh, it's just one box, I'm going to get out of here. I don't see them doing that, though. It's not like it's guarded by the trap tile, so you would think that they would get it.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to go through the one spike tile, the nightmare tile, to get to it.
True.
But it's what, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8 boxes? That's not nothing. But Fryteeth's looking for a death warp here? Just trying to run from these man cats. And you can see Deadpool's only 10 shards away. So not only is he that much closer into Topher, but those fights he's taking, he's going to get a lot of XP from. And Thunder going to see what Matoya's got. It's Cure -2. We don't know what that Cure -2 is, but
no, we
it's
don't.
Something. It could be Masa. For all we know, it could be Masa.
I wonder if Thunder had ever gone back and checked that first one like that they had found. Sir Link-a-Lot just want to point out, he likes his party. He put a ring on it. 4 gold rings for Sir Lincolot's party, so that's pretty good defense. I think they were +3. That and some pro rings, and you're looking pretty solid. Eventually, the black belts won't need it, but that's good to have in the middle of the game.
Yeah, I think you leave them on the black belts just because we're leaning on the black belts wearing those ribbons because they're not going to have that 200 MDef by the end game. So with the black belt inverted MDef being on, so those black belts are only getting 3 MDef. So I think we keep the ribbons on them, which means we're going to want to keep high-powered gold bracelets and those pro rings on those black belts. So gold +3 is 30 absorb, ribbon +1 is 2, so that's 32 right there. And then the pro ring plus, I missed what the pro ring was plus, but it's 8 plus whatever the number is. So that gets us almost to vanilla level 50 black belt absorb, which is pretty good.
Yeah, you made a good point about the black belt MDef levels. When we got started, I was thinking, okay, well, +3 is not that big of a difference from +4. But if you multiply that out by 40 levels, then all of a sudden you're looking at 40 less MDef on something that caps out at around 256. So that's a big difference percentage-wise.
Yeah. It's so Reese Wolf clarifying, it's not inverted MDef, it's +3 +4. MDef
Yes.
is what we're working with.
Yes.
So but Thunder taking on Carrie here. So making his way through these vanilla fiends, getting the big there's Melmond and Melmond. How about that? I missed that earlier. And there's single target invis.
Yeah, Sir Lincolot thinking about that, but deciding to go on and get a slab translated instead of buying them right away. I guess weapons slots are pretty dear at this point when you're working with caster magic. You don't necessarily want to sacrifice your Cure 4s. But looks like he's getting rid of the Zaps, the A-Rubs, and Heal 2 might go... Ooh, that's a tough decision.
So Thunder, we saw Link's item screen. He's playing with the auto sort inventory, so I don't know immediately where to find the loot in that list. But Thunderclaw playing with the vanilla item sort, I did not see loot in his inventory. So if they saw ordeals, they just noped out, which may come back to bite them. That might be the story of the race so far. But
yeah, so I'm
on the Bridge of Destiny now.
Indeed, Freyteeth about to take on Tiamat, so we'll see how that goes. Sir Lincolot also just about to jump down into the Oxyale entrance and finds just a Cardia.
And, there's a chunk down there. And, a chunk. So, 1 chunk's not bad. And...
No, and we... Go ahead.
Freyteeth just rocking the solo fighter. I'm wondering if, we've been waiting to wipe and get a death warp. But all this XP getting dumped into the fighter is pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, he is dropping in this too, so it looks like he wants to keep the fighter alive.
And he has a Masa Moon.
He does, but it's not doing much damage. I think it's very high evade on that Tiamat.
Yeah, I don't know which sword it is, though. I'm assuming that's the Cure -2. So that was a Cure -2 from a toy that was the Masa. So, interesting. And now Thunder cycling through his swords trying to find a good one. Little does he know, Cure -2. And Freyteeth's going to be here a while. This Tiamat we know has a bunch of HP. Almost near 3,000. And I don't know if it didn't look like he had a saber sword on him either.
Well, if he did, he certainly would be using it by now. Sir Lincolot is in Mermaids. Now, we've already seen this from Dead Pulse. I didn't notice, but there was the useless canal in there. As he picks up TNT as well. So that could be something. I don't know if they've seen dwarfs yet. The TNT, I don't believe we know what that turns into yet.
No, we've seen dwarfs. It was pretty early. But we didn't, we haven't turned in either TNT or the adamant. It looks like Brak has the adamant. want to say Doors was like in TOF, maybe?
Shadowed Flames shouting out in Discord for us that Dwarf was Cardia Forest, and the Adamant itself turned into nothing important.
Yeah, that tracks. All right, so Bright Teeth still stabbing this dragon.
Yeah, Reese Wolf adding that's where we saw the crown and the Oxale and the Dwarf Armory right next to each other. How close do you think this Tiamat is to death? It's writhing and squealing and on its last legs here.
Are we in a crit loop? Yeah, I think we're in a crit loop, looks like. A 1 cycle crit loop. 3 hits, 194. There it is, yep. Always nice to see that. Always fun to see the crit loop. It's not very common. Very low % chance to actually happen, but always pretty cool when you see it happen.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how that works. All I know is that if you put your fighter in the 3rd or 4th slot and you hold A, there is a chance that the same thing starts happening over and over again.
Yeah, it's the enemy AI wants to target the top slot, and when it goes to target the top slot and nothing's there, it cycles back through what it's trying to target. And if you're holding A, it can force it to continue to attempt to target the same person over and over again, is my rough understanding of the crit loop. It's basically, according to the people that I've talked to, it's like a 3 in 256 chance, because that's our way of saying like basically a 1% chance to happen. So it's not common at all, and it's pretty difficult to do. And if you do it, you want to get it done where the enemy is trying to target with a punch that's going to miss. You don't want to crit loop while the enemy's crit looping, also critting, because then you're both going to just be punching the crap out of each other. You don't want to try to get a
Haymaker special.
Yeah, call it the Rocky Apollo fight. We're just going to stand here and punch each other in the face, because we're both professional boxers, but none of us know how defense works. And you don't want to try to attempt it if like the enemy's casting spells or throwing skills. Because if you get the enemy like stuck into a spell crit loop and they're just cycling through all their spells, they might dump a nuke on you.
You know, Caleb, I just have to say, I love hearing about stuff like that. That validates my experience. So let me explain to you what I mean. When I was a kid, I was sure. I remember using the short sword and trying to take out Kaizokus, and I was sure that holding that A button made a difference. I couldn't prove it, but I felt like it resulted in a better overall experience for me trying to grind that gold. So it's good to know that that's not coming from nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, if you've only got one light warrior up there in the 3rd or 4th slot, then yeah. But yeah, there's all sorts of. I used to think playing this game vanilla that the encounter table wasn't based on steps but based on time, because I always felt like if I was like going for a walk and like I stopped to like get up and go get something to drink or go do something because my mom was yelling at me, and by the time I came back, picked the controller up, it was always I took one more step and there was a fight. So I always assumed it was time based, not step based. So.
Well, no, that's fair enough, Caleb. And I'll tell you, there's another one of these situations which is even more true. I thought the game punished you whenever you were doing badly by making it harder to run. And in a way, it actually did. Because if I found out later, if any of your characters in slot 3 had a status effect like poison, so often I was trying to run out a marsh and I was poisoned, it actually affected your ability to run if one of them was poisoned. So it's like, oh, I can't believe that was actually real.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting little bugs in the vanilla game. All right, so we're approaching in-game, and Bright Teeth trying to figure out what to do with just this fighter. We need to wake those black belts back up and go visit the optometrist down there in Marsh Bottom.
Yeah, definitely time for an eye checkup for sure. Does pick Sir Lancelot gets the rod. Probably already knew that was there and just went straight for it.
They are probably, if I'm channeling my inner psychic, they are probably very grumpy about where this loot is, because they have a fair amount of shards, it looks like Link is 11 away. I haven't seen Thunder's menu in a minute, but Thunder's been cleaning up. So it's going to be... Yeah, I think this is where you have to look at your notes and you have to say, where didn't we go? You know, because we walked into every door. So what door didn't we fully go through? And you hate to think that it might be ordeals and maybe they accidentally marked it as completed.
Yeah, that's pretty much a worst case scenario. Though it does start to look like that's what Link is doing, just checking every entrance.
Mm-hmm. Well, if he's thorough here, he's going to find ordeals because I feel like we found that pretty early on. And there's Fryteeth on the Kraken floor, so he's getting his big chunks of, ironically, chunks out of the way now. Still needs to get those black belts a little more powerful. And there's Shadow letting us know that ordeals was in the Matoy entrance, so that's one of those ones that can be almost like it's so close that you lose it. You know, it's like, because it's right under your nose, right? It's one of the very first entrances, and we saw all of our runners like immediately go to cardio with the free airship that, oof. And Link working, looks like counterclockwise around the inner sea, is gonna, if he's working from Ice Cave, like provoke a Ice Cave down around to Matoya, like that's, ooh. That could be a problem. And
right, so go ahead.
I was going to say, and Dead Pulse is exactly 8 away, and he's on the Bridge of Destiny, so he's going to be 4 away. As Fryteeth is taking on Kraken here. So no Brak. Yeah. We're punching all the way, and we're missing. Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, Kraken hitting like Kraken hits. Simultaneous fights here. They're both going about the same, with Tiamat also taking out the Thief in slot 1. Of course, we're not particularly worried about that Thief. The main thing is keeping our 2 black belts alive so they can reap the benefits of the experience. Tiamat's hitting hard. Kraken has taken down a second Light Warrior. It looks like Fryteeth is going with a little bit of an alternate strat. Just to sort of keep that last black belt alive as long as possible.
And Kraken still getting through with a crit. And get through with our very own crit of 144. And we need luck. But we need better luck here, or we need to switch strategies and start dumping Lightning 3s into Kraken, because Lightning 3 is an effective spell on Kraken 1. It can roll up and do over like 300 damage. So, and Kraken
this is
gets through with
heartbreaking.
2 crits. Good thing we got those 4 chucks or axe.
Yeah, well, it's heartbreaking to see that exactly what you were talking about earlier about how lock can be important. Mm-hmm. And this is why we have 2 very powerful Light Warriors swinging all day long and missing all day long too. This looks like it must be max if they hit it close too.
Yeah, you gotta make an adjustment here and switch at least one of the Light Warriors to dumping Lightning 3s. I don't think we saw Thunder or Link take on Kraken. I would imagine they would take a very similar strategy and then maybe adjust to the Lightning 3s, or maybe even Zaps. You know, Zap almost as likely to hit Kraken as Brak is. So, how much?
Yeah, does anyone out in chat know the percentage of the Zap being successful against those bosses? Because I know that the Brak is about 26% and Bane is almost as good, but I didn't know that Zap was viable.
Zap's, for my money, Zap's always viable. I'm a big Zap supporter because nothing resists it. It just has pretty low accuracy. I want to say, I have a handy dandy sheet. I'll tell you in a minute. I don't have it bookmarked anymore.
No worries. Fryteeth still swinging away here. And Deadpulse has moved on, of course, to the Kraken floor. So going to be catching up with that same fight and finding out how tricky it is. However, that might be a full raft of chunks for Deadpulse.
Okay. I found it. So yeah, 27% for Brak, but we're looking for Zap. So Zap Kraken 1 is roughly at 11% chance, roughly. So it could be pretty good. But Fryteeth gets through, so Brute Force gets it done.
Yeah, and Deadpulse doesn't. Kraken just went nuts and took out all 4 Light Warriors in succession.
Got to get those Invis sticks. But yeah, this is if I'm Fryteeth and Deadpulse and Kraken 1 bodied me that hard, it is time to figure out what we're doing for Topher. As we're dropping Zap stores, what are we doing? No.
Yeah, I must be making room for something.
Bane's a good adjustment there. Bane is a roughly 15% chance on Kraken 1. It's fine.
Yeah, it's not Brak, but it'll work eventually if you don't get wiped out first. So Fryteeth's taken on Lich now, and after that Kraken, this should feel like a walk in the park. Still without magic, though, you are relying on the hits, which are not coming super hard, but they're doing the job.
And Lich did have that blaze, but not a factor here.
And shoutouts to SpeedGaming 2, rating us with a party of 112. Welcome to the Double Dragon co-op match already in progress between teams Fade to Brak and Team Thunderalot.
Yeah, this is a championship Double Dragon. We call our Irongol circuit of co-op Double Dragon, named after one of our alternate final bosses of Tiamat 2 and Carry 2. But Deadpool's gonna go peek behind the Rodlock. This looks like it's vanilla. Not vanilla. My bad. I got distracted by reading what Reese Wolf said, and I said the word that I was reading instead of saying the word that I was thinking. This is something we haven't seen before. Is what I meant to say. So what is behind the Rodlock? Oh,
we've already seen Toph. It's Provoka.
Okay, we have been here then.
Doesn't look like Deadpulse has. He's at least checking the weapon shop to see what magic there is here. But yes, we have. Wait, there's 2 sticks. We haven't seen those.
Yeah, we did. We've been to Provoka before. It's just it's hard to. This is new information for them. Sell the A-Rub. We have ribbons. Fryteeth continuing his tour of killing Vanilla Fiends, and Deadpulse needs to. Yeah, he needs these Invis 2 sticks in order to get through Kraken 1. And that will get him his final 4 shards. And Sir Link makes his way to... They're both making their way to the Lefane entrance. They maybe both think that the loot has to be here, which is bad news for them, because it's not. So. Yeah,
they've been bleeding time for a while now, looking for that loot. And that's got to be frustrating. Question we can ask for them later. And it's going to be interesting to see if they do open any boxes in ordeals, indicating that they've been at least through part of it. Because we were wondering about that. We thought that we did see them in there, but then how come they don't have that incentive item we know is there?
Yeah. Oh boy. So what's it going to be? How long do we go without, and then we get the crystal that we've had. So this isn't a new item. Unless we're just coming here for the ribbon. But why we knew this ribbon was here. Okay, so Link's got all of his shards. He's going back. He's picking up key items or key pieces of gear that he knows that he needs at Thunder Found. And we're both going to Marsh Top.
So it looks like maybe they do have the loot after all, because Thundercloud is making a Topher dive right now.
I hope he has the loot. Last I saw his item screen, he did not have the loot. I feel like I did not see them go into ordeals yet. So we'll see if he bounces off the loot plate.
Sir Linkalot following him up.
Yeah. Link gotta kill Garland.
I mean, you have to do that anyways at the end of the game. So
yeah, it's just
not a quick.
Like, get out of my way, princess! I gotta go back in time. I already got everything.
She's like, but I have the loot. You don't have it.
But wait.
You need this musical instrument so that you can crack open a plate that's going to be in your way for some reason.
Yep, and there's the acknowledgement that we don't have the loot.
Oh no!
And
so
I wonder if they
were hunting it.
Yeah. So, I wonder if they thought that it was going to be in the TOF boxes, which I'm pretty sure it's protected against. So now the bad times hit for Team Thunderalot. Because we now need to like look at our notes and figure out where we missed boxes, which is not an easy thing for runners to do. Like, you have in your mind where, like, if you're running a seed solo, you kind of know where you've gone, where you didn't go, what you checked, what you didn't check, like where you've orphaned boxes. But when it's co-op, things get a little hairier, I think. Because there's so much talking and communication happening that you hear call outs for stuff and you think you're going to remember, but then you don't. At least that's been my experience in co-op. Like, and then it's just like, wait, where did you say this ribbon was? Where did you say you found the dragon armor? Okay, it was, yeah, right. It was on Sharknado floor. But where was Sharknado floor? That kind of stuff. So
right. So what we're seeing now is it looks like a coordinated hunt for the loot where they're both going to different locations. So they don't know where it is, and they're just going to have to try and clear it all off while chatting about it.
We're probably being really happy about it too.
Oh, ecstatic.
And Fryteeth going with the Gurmedusa grind over the eyes.
Yeah, the Gurmedusas can be good XP, and you've got the ability to cast sweeper spells until the end of day with your with your lit 3 swords there. So that's going with that makes sense. I just want to shout out as well, as we were talking, Deadpulse did get Kraken down without much difficulty. So that brings his shards up to max, and he looks like he's doing some shopping.
Yeah, he's ready to go. Getting some spending money from Bicky. So all runners maxed out chunks. Just time for preparation, and that's what Dead Pulse is doing. And Dead Pulse will likely be our first runner past the loot gate.
So casting our minds back, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Link hits the Kraken floor and just sort of like pauses for a second, which makes me think that confusion abounds.
That's almost certainly the case. The question is, you know, how do they deal with that confusion now? The team on the right-hand side is certainly looking like they're rolling pretty good. Fryteeth's preparing with that Gurmedusa grind, and Dead Pulse, as you were saying, maybe pretty much just doing the shopping and jumping in. Now, we said back at the beginning of this race, or you said and I agreed, that first Topher is a good sign. I think first Topher without the loot doesn't count, though.
No, very valid. Deadpool's gonna get a lot of information. So the deeper Link goes into this, like, he's at Dwarf Cave. He's not far from Matoya's. So I don't know how far down he's orphaned boxes and how far down he's gonna dive this Dwarf Cave dungeon. But okay, we're walking out. All right.
Dead Pulse entering Topher at 111.
We flew past Matoya. Oh no. Oh no. Princess with a little bit of money, and Link's gonna walk to Ordeals. Oh man, like this like my heart is sinking right now for Thunderalot. You know, this is the 100% not like this, you know. But Rando gonna Rando. And Thunder's headed to Matoya. Okay.
Yeah, so this is going to be Ordeals all the way through. We don't have Ordeals. Even the floor and entrance shuffle doesn't shuffle around for obvious reasons. And Thunder's going to get what he needs. Going to tell Link a lot. And with that, we'll have our race back on our hands.
Yep, and it's going to be pretty close because until he seems to be like there's 100% tilt coming from Thunder. We see him sort of bouncing off pillars here, so not having the cleanest pillar maze, and Link's still looking for boxes where he's at. So, and Deadpool's still trying to get through these unrunnable badmen, and we've lost Fighter and Thief. Oof. So no resurrection. So Deadpool's on to just black belts. We got a 32 and a 42. And there's Astos. Fane. Love it. Didn't get the loot, so we reset out. And here comes Thunder and Ogres and Creeps.
Yeah, so Astos, of course, that was a function of the shuffled Astos flag, which moves the Astos fight around to a random NPC. This time it was on the Sky Warrior in Lefane that gives us normally gives us an item for the translated slab.
And here it comes, last box for Thunder, your tambourine. And there Link goes on his horse back to Temple of Fiends Revisited. So Dead Pulse is one black belt's almost level 50 now. So this is gonna be close. 113 feels pretty okay for a Topher entrance. I'm sure both teams feel markedly behind. So, and Link going the wrong way. I guess we're picking up some more items in Marsh South, which
could just be a miscommunication.
Get the ribbon again?
Yeah, there's
maybe he reset out of this and didn't keep it. Yeah, I definitely thought I saw him open that box, but he did reset out of Topher, so he had to pick it up again because he did not wipe out of Topher. And I missed the Lich 2 fight for Dead Pulse. I guess we're just punching our way through and got through Lich 2. Carry 2, punch for 10 hits. Okay, so here's that situation where Topher's squishy so far, and Fryteeth saving outside. Level 35 black belt now for the weaker of the two black belts for Dead Pulse. Kraken 2 could be problematic.
Yeah, well, Kraken 2 is often the gatekeeper, and especially when you've got the the scaling that we have with minimum of 100%, maximum of 350 for stats, I believe, and 100 to 250 for HP, that's a lot.
And those unrunnable badmen really set Deadpulse up for the opposite of a good time here, as he's having trouble running from the Seafood Party Pack and having to use turns to do Cure 4 axes instead of running. But these Seafood Party Packs are not good with the 2-man.
Oh yes, Sea Trash Encounters, the real final boss of Final Fantasy Randomizer.
And Fryteeth and Thunder are holding hands, coming through the loot plate.
Do you think they played their tambourines in sync?
I hope so, because it's like they're chasing Link, and they're like half a floor ahead of them. All right. Oh, these Seafood Party Packs.
Yes,
Brutal.
Topher is the great equalizer, and this is exactly the sort of thing that turned what looked like it was solidly in favor of Fryteeth and Deadpulse. Now it's anyone's game. We don't know who's going to have more trouble with this, who's going to wipe multiple times. We do have save on death, so each time is going to make them come back stronger, as Deadpulse comes awfully close, but manages to just squeak away and goes in with low HP.
The cojones on Deadpulse. Oh,
he's hitting hard.
Oh,
this could be it.
My God! Please stop. Drink some heal potions, please. Please. Jeez. So to pull Kraken 1 and gamble on 50-50 turn order and win, get the Cure 4 off, and then say, okay, Kraken just punched me for 750. Do I gamble another 50-50 that I can get a Cure 4 off and hope that Kraken does something else? Or do I just punch? And he punched and did half damage, and he's like, okay, I just did like 1,000,000 damage. Maybe I can win turn order again. The 3 hits 530. Tiamat opens with stun. Deadpulse gets turn order again, but Tiamat punches for almost half our health. And we're not getting... Tiamat's kind there. It gives us the chance to use Cure 4 as she's using Lightning 2 and Fire 2, and now we're only hitting for 1. Rub comes out. Fryteeth already onto the Kraken 2 floor. Link on the Kraken 2 floor. Thunder approaching Carry 2. This is going to come down to the wire. 2 hits 468. This Tiamat can have a truck ton of HP, but I think it was 902 that just hit. 269 from 1 hit, back to Cure 4s. Ooh, Tiamat punching so hard, and we're gonna use a turn to Saber. Back to Cure 4s. Lightning 2 rolls back through. We're gonna Cure 4 it, and we're gonna punch again. This time Sabered, and we're gonna miss. We're gonna keep punching, and Tiamat turn order away here. Cure 4. Ooh, and there it is. So Tiamat, the oh man, you hate to see it, that the 50-50 gambles on turn order.
Yeah, I think we were all rooting for Deadpulse just a little bit there, but no one stays lucky forever. And
he's got that black belt's level 50 now, and he knows that he could just punch through everything and get to Tiamat. He could just, if he had just used like maybe 1 or 2 of those turns where he was punching and missing, if he had used one of those for Invis 2, might be a different fight. But Deadpulse has that information and is giving it to Fryteeth. Fryteeth approaching Tia 2 as both members of Thunderalot on the Kraken 2 floor.
Okay, so now we're in a situation where basically our 3 runners that are simultaneously all in second are pretty much in the same general area. Fryteeth a little bit ahead at that Tiamat fight. Thundercloud is still on Kraken, and Sir Linkalot is likely to pull Kraken in any minute now. So they're awfully close.
Yeah. And there's all 4 Light Warriors throwing out Invis 2, so that's a lot of evasion right off the gate. That's 2 defense swords That's 2 ruses right away for everybody. And now we're all punching. 3 hits, 285. Masa swing, 127. Tia's missing. And there's the 5th stack of Invis coming out. So even closer to that evasion cap. 2 hits, 352. We're going to just fight. 2 hits, 342. Thunderclawed onto Tiamat, already out with the Invis 2s. So it's really just those badmen. The badmen, once again, giving Deadpool's problem here on approaching the loot plate. But we're going to get through. We know to respect the badmen a little bit now. Clamped enemies are scary, badmen especially.
Yep, and badmen are definitely going to be something we are going to ask Deadpulse about. It's awfully unlucky to encounter 2 different times when you're doing your soft resets and you're trying to shuffle things around, but there's only so many different combinations, and some of them are more common than the others. It could be that the badmen are just often encountered on that floor.
Fry Teeth through, Thunderclawed through. Link has pulled Tia 2. And what is Chaos gonna do? Fry Teeth pulls Chaos. We're gonna open up with Invis, and Invis. So, incoming stack of 160 evasion coming across the party. We have not seen anything nasty spell or skill-wise from the Topher bosses yet. Nuclear still in the pool. Nuke still in the pool. Cure 4 still in the pool. Slow 2 could be a killer here. Black Belt Punch for 120 damage. So 10 hits reduced to 1. It's not a good sign. And we're missing with the other Black Belt. Missing with the Masa. We're switching to chip damage and punches. Nuclear comes in and high rolls the Thief and the Fighter, low rolls both of the Black Belts. It's time to turn those top 2 Light Warriors into heal bots. Maybe? Nope, we're going to keep punching. There comes the Cure Force. Another punch for 124. On Thunderclaw's side, equal trouble here. Can we punch through? Switching to Saber. Saber will help a little bit, but not by much. When those hits land, they will hit harder. There's the Nuclear, another high roll for that Fighter. And switching to heal 3. Nice adjustment there, getting the AoE heals. And there's 2 hits for 510. It's a big chunk of damage on Thunderclaw's screen. As Sir Linkalot now on the Chaos fight. Deadpool's back to Kraken 2. Did not see the Seafood Party Packs this time. I can't call this rock solid. There's way too many people fighting Chaos.
Well, 3 Chaoses on the screen. So far, the worst we've seen from Chaos is Nuclear, but there's Bane coming out and taking out one of the Black Belts. That's got to be nasty for Fry Teeth.
Yeah, that is a problem. We don't have ribbons for everybody. And we're just missing and there's 2 hits, 307. And we're Saber sorting and Invis sticking on Sir Lynx, and there's the Bane, but it bounces off all of our Light Warriors. Deadpool's on the Tia 2. Chaos with Ink. Still waiting to see if all the way through that spell list to see if there is a Slow 2, to see if there is a Cure 4, to see if there's a Nuke. I think Slow 2 would probably be one of the biggest problems if that lands. Slow 2 non-elemental. So ribbons don't matter with Slow 2. The raw MDEF of the Black Belts will help, but Ink comes out. And it's holding non-elemental swirl rolls through Thunderclaw's party.
We just saw a second Nuclear from Fry Teeth's Chaos, but I don't know if that means that he's wrapped around yet or not.
It looks like it's Nuclear Ink Swirl. And there's a Bane, so now Thunder sees the Bane. Getting good damage there, 520. Link still missing. Deadpool's still fighting Tia 2. We're going to have like 4 people fighting Chaos. And there's the swirl for Fry Teeth. Still missing. We got to make an adjustment on Fry Teeth's side. I hope we have those saber swords. This Chaos could have upwards of, I believe, so 350%. Yeah, this Chaos could have like 7,500 HP. And there's the nuclear again. Yeah, Thunder doing pretty consistent damage every time I glance at his fight, and I guess I'll like a lightning 3.
With the Cure 4 sticks and Chaos only having nuclear and swirl separated by those 2 inks, I think.
Oh no, Chaos has zap and zapped that black belt. So Fry Teeth in significant trouble there as Chaos has nuke on Thundercloud's scene. This is big time yikes.
Chaos got spells.
Yeah, this is big time yikes. Invis 2s for Deadpool's has the information, and there's nuclear right away, and it's black belts only for Deadpool's. Thunderalot doing pretty good damage when their hits are hitting. Ice 3 rolls through for Fry Teeth. I think we've now looped through that spell list, and we know the back half of that spell list is nasty. Almost rather stick to the nuclears. The nuclears and swirls.
Yeah, at least nuclear and swirl will always leave the light warriors with enough left to cure 4 themselves back up to full. But nuclear and nuke coming that close together could be tough.
Thunder punches through. That zap still in the chamber for Link. Punching 2 at 614. Cure Force coming out and punching. Fire 3. I didn't see that one before. And 927 with single hit. So Link gets through, and Team Thunderalot maintains they successfully defend their championship belt. GG's for Team Thunderalot. Yeah,
what a match for Team Thunderalot. Incredible adversity, running into that problem with the loot, and then basically just putting their heads together, finding it as quickly as possible, sharing the information so that they can go straight back to Topher. And though they weren't the first into Topher, they weren't the first to Chaos, but they were the first to take him down. GG's Team Thunderalot.
Yeah, absolutely. They earned that one. But no disrespect to Fade to Brak. They did beat Thunderalot into Topher. This is my first time watching them run co-op, and they're going to be a pretty scary team. Like, obviously, like, clear communication, good notes. Fry Teeth takes it down with just the thief and the fighter, and here comes Dead Pulse's black belt.
Just finished.
Mano. We're missing. But 2 hits, 560. There's a swirl coming through. Ice 3 comes back out.
Where are you?
327. And gonna keep punching. And
I seem to have lost the stream for Dead Pulse. Do you still have the stream?
Yeah, it looks like Dead Pulse's stream has frozen. But we did see that in the race room that he did finish with a 129.08. So there it is. So the stream stuttered a little bit there. So we're going to get all these folks into the broadcast booth. And in fact, we're joined by half of Thunderalot, the Alot part. GG's Sir Link-A-Lot.
Thanks. Thunder said he didn't get the invite, so that might be why he's not here yet.
Okay. I will message him the invite. So, talk to us about that seed. Where are your initial thoughts at?
Initially it was just like find an item that can, or a weapon that can do some form of magic. Hopefully, that does good. And then, we found the zap, and then he found the lightning 3 nunchucks. But I guess kind of the main thing was like, hey, let's split up and Thunder said, let's split up. I'm going to go top, and I'll start looking around the bottom. And then he found what he did. It's like, okay, cool. I'm going to go up there. And I went in the wrong entrance and found Marsh Bottom, and then stumbled upon the eyes. I'm just like, well, found our grind, and Lightning 3 is just like, yeah, okay, let's just do that right away. Which, we felt pretty good until we went into Topher the first time and got all the way to somewhere where you need an item that we didn't have, and then we're like, crap, we need to go find something.
Yeah. Hey, Thunder. GG's, man.
Hey, what's up?
How about that loot, bro?
That was a great spot. I think there was only 4 other locations in the game it could have landed. 4 other turn-in items / 1 box, maybe somewhere we didn't look at.
Yeah, the thing about ordeals was obviously it wasn't incentive, so it's just we talked a little bit about when we saw the chime in the shop about how it's ironic when a loose item lands in an incentive location. And then lo and behold, that's where the loot was. Fade to Brak found that loot pretty early on, and I thought I saw you guys in ordeals. Did something happen to you early on?
It was just I was level 1 as soon as I got the airship. It was the first entrance I checked, and I was like, nope, can't do that level 1 with no gear. So I just went to Cardia.
Yeah, it's a tough break to put those 8 chests behind you and just at the beginning of the game and not even think about them until, oh crap, where's the loot?
There are a couple chunks.
Pretty much what happened.
Yeah. And we're now joined in the booth by Fade to Brak, Dead Pulse, and Fry Teeth. GG's, you two. I mean, it was close. So if it still would. It would have been close because if Dead Pulse had gotten through Tia 2 and got the first kill on Chaos, because Dead Pulse was on Tia 2, I want to say, while everybody else was coming into Topher, but took the wipe there. But I still think that both Thunderalot killed Chaos before Fry Teeth got through, so it would have been a little bit closer, but not by much. So
yeah, it didn't help getting both of my level 43 black belts zapped by Chaos.
Yeah, it's a bad time. It's gonna be a bad time. But so I'm gonna shut up because I talk a lot. I'm gonna let Rock Solid do his post game stuff because he's killer at it. So Rock Solid, take it away, man.
I'll jump straight into the outro then. Great. Well, thanks everybody for checking us out.
Oh no, I was kicking to you for post game race questions. My bad.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, just kind of spinning off of what Dead Pulse was saying there about that unfortunate zap that dropped. We were talking a little bit about party composition at the very beginning of this, and you all went with pretty similar parties. I believe everybody had 2 black belts. And somebody went 2 fighters, 2 black belts. But Dead Pulse, I don't believe you were one. I think you had a fighter, thief, 2 black belts. Am I right about that? Oh, do we have Dead Pulse here?
That is correct. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah,
so,
I ran the
okay,
fighter,
so you
thief,
went
2 black belts.
Right. So the thing I was going to ask after all that preamble was just, did your decision making, was it affected at all by the change to the MDEF growth for that black belt?
No, not really. I wanted to have 2 melee in case there was going to be some unlucky zaps or banes, and then the thief was just there to run.
Okay, makes sense. How did you feel when you were in Topher? Did you know or did you suspect that you might be the first person in there? Of course, you know about your teammate, but you don't know what's going on the other side of the border.
I had a feeling that I was either ahead going in there the first time or I was really close. And it was a hard decision because once I ran into that pack of Bad Man, the 9 that you couldn't run from, and I lost everything but the 2 black belts, I had to decide, all right, do I reset, do I try it again, or do I just keep going in case I can get through it?
Yeah, that was actually the other thing I was going to ask. How did you feel the second time you ran in at catching up to those unrunnable bad men again before Phantom Tile?
I might have been using some choice words off the mic.
Well, choice words, I believe, may have been had all around. Thunderclad, coming back to you for a minute. Appreciated the theatrics a little bit. We saw your frustration in the item menu when you realized you didn't have the loot. How do you start climbing back from that, knowing that you don't have an item and you don't know where you lost it? Are you the sort that takes notes that are complete enough that you know, okay, these are where I orphan the most boxes? Or have you ran so many seeds that you know where you tend to skip? How does your thought process go?
Kind of a both, but I knew that all the dungeons I actually did go into and do, I didn't skip any boxes. I knew that from just doing my thing with seed. So I know it wasn't anywhere I was already before that went deep. And then my eyes just glance over to our shared tracking notes that we have for our team. And I start looking from top to bottom, being like, okay, did I actually go in here? Did he go in here? And then I see Ordeals at Martoya's. It's like, oh yeah, I actually didn't go all the way in Ordeals. And so that's the decision that we did to find it. And that's where it was. Because he said the same thing. He went through every dungeon and opened every box except for like the 2 hairpins in Volcano. So when he checked it there and it wasn't there, and we checked a couple turn-in items for NPCs and it didn't pop up, I was like 99% sure it was going to be an Ordeals.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in your voice chat at that moment when that happened. Sir Linkalot, what do you do when your partner calls out, oh, crap, I'm in Topher, I don't have a loot. Do you start hollering out locations? I mean, how do you start as a team climbing out of that hole?
I mean, I think first there wasn't a whole lot of like chatter during Thunder and I, other than, crap, we forgot the loot. We need to go find it. I think both of us at that point, we were doing kind of the same thing. We were looking at the tracker with where we'd already been, ourselves, and just retracing our steps. Like, did I skip a chest? If I did skip a chest, what chest did I skip? And I know, like, with it being 36 shards and all the key items were loose, we both I think we both had the mentality that this was going to be a full clear of the game anyways. So we weren't skipping chests, really. I mean, I wasn't skipping chests whatsoever. It was just like, even, when I found Vampire Floor, I'm like, normally I skip TFC chests. I'm like, I'm not skipping it. It's not happening. Because I'll skip it and there'll be something there and we'll forget about it.
Okay, well, we were impressed, or at least I was, at how quickly you came back and managed to find that and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Fryteeth, I'm going to go to you for the last of my interview questions anyways. Just want to say, how does it feel to come within 1 to 2 minutes of taking down the champs as a mere group of ducklings?
It feels good and bad, to be that close and that competitive with a team as good as they are. With both of us being, fairly new, feels pretty good. But, it's also that feeling of, what's that one thing we could have done that would have gotten us there?
Yeah, well, you're always going to have that feeling no matter what level you're at. I think it's safe to say. And I'm proud to have you representing the class of 2021 ducklings. You're both doing a bang-up job out there. GG's.
And I guess the only question I really have for Fade to Brak is, how do you go from really strong co-op partners to bitter rivals in the matter of just a few days when the Duck Derby begins?
I don't think bitter rivals is the correct term. We're going to be cheering each other on.
Yeah, I know. It's just interesting to me because, like, when you run co-op with a person, and you start to and maybe Thunder and Link can speak to this a little bit, as they've been co-op partners and co-op champions from the Summer League. So they've played a lot more organized co-op races than you two, and maybe they can share some insight on some key tips and tricks on how to work together a little bit better as teammates. But when you run co-op with someone, you start learning how that person approaches a seed, and maybe their strategies start influencing your solo play, and vice versa. Maybe your strategies start helping them out a little bit there. So there's ways that after co-op, you two are still sort of kind of running the same thing. So I'm going to be interested to watch the two of you come to Duck Derby to see how in tandem you are running without even thinking about it.
What I'll say is what kind of made us work right off the bat without really any co-op experience is that we're very similar in our play styles, in our strengths, weaknesses. And I think watching it definitely shows. But I mean, we're getting into Topher in every race we've done within, a minute of each other. So,
yeah. But that being said, I think you guys put on a heck of a show and definitely did the Ducks proud. I said during the broadcast that Thunderalot had to be considered the odds-on favorite to win this race just because of their excellent track history and how well both runners perform both in co-op and individually. But that you two were no slouches, and I was rooting for you in the back of my mind, and sometimes on stream. But it was a delight to watch all four of you run. You all did wonderful, and these flags, to get them done as quickly as you did, even with co-op, is a testament to the skill and ability of all four runners. I guess before we get into the outro and the upcoming schedule, we can pass it around for final thoughts. Team Thunderalot are Double Dragon champions once more. Not bitter at all. Final thoughts. I guess we'll start with Irongol alphabetically.
I'm teaching the ducklings too good.
Right.
Can I say that?
Yeah.
It was a fun race. I know when I was like looking at the flags, I was like, this is going to be interesting because it's definitely outside of anything that I've thought about doing. Because it's like, not have. I mean, granted, we had item magic and all weapons had a spell, but no mages whatsoever. We kind of really had to adapt. I know the big thing was like the big decision I had to make during the seed was when we actually had the loot and we were going to Topher. Thunder said, "Hey, did you go back to Provoca to get the Invis 2 sticks?" I'm just like, "Nope." It's like, "You're gonna go get them?" And it's like halfway, you're like, "Nope, I'm here. I'm going." I don't think we have. It's like we forgot the loot. I don't think we have. I don't think I have time to go back and get Invis 2. It's just like, as long as something doesn't basically one shot one of my characters with having a cure 4x on everybody. Granted, I just completely forgot to heal my thief and just like I don't want to use heal potions yet. And let my thief die right away. Like, well, that's cool. So I'll 3 mana. It's cool. Everybody's got a ribbon. I'll be fine.
Yeah, that is interesting that you bring that up because that might have been a difference in the race if you had gone back to Provoca. Thunder, final thoughts, man.
Oh man, just we win again. It's like waiting for someone that can come up here and give me a break.
Okay.
But no, it's a lot of fun. Co-op's always a good time, and these are not just easy co-op tournament. Everyone can access these kind of seeds, so it's the Double Dragon co-op is pretty fun, because you can get out of the norm for what you expect co-op to be, and play really dumb flags with someone else.
Yeah, like I said, this is the first time we've seen Black Belt in co-op play. And
yeah, true.
And not just that, everybody brought 2.
We missed
in case one breaks down, which we definitely saw a couple times where our black belts fell down and broke. But so now we'll go to Fade to Brak. Keeping the alphabetical order, Dead Pulse. Final thoughts, man.
This was a really fun race. I'm glad that it was pretty close. What I will say, though, is that both Fryeteeth and I are going to be enjoying the Duck Derby, and once we're done developing and evolving into our platypus form, we'll probably be back for that title. So, don't get too attached to it.
Maybe the Fade to Brak will feature the latest incarnation of the Duckling Supreme. So we'll have to see come the end of 4 weeks. But Fryeteeth.
I mean, just going off of that, whoever it is, they kind of got some big shoes to fill, just saying.
Yeah, Groggy Dog was a great Duckling Supreme. I kid, Irongol, our reigning Duckling Supreme. We'll happily take on the new Duckling Supreme in the little the one-off race that we like to do. But Fryeteeth, final thoughts, man.
Yeah, a lot of fun tonight. Thanks for putting up with my odd flag set that I came up with, and it was a lot of fun tonight.
Nice. That's what we do. We have fun here. So coming up, there's more fun tomorrow. We're going to see Thundercloud back in action, looking to take down the illustrious Burt Reynolds in the Irongol Heavy Metal Championship. That's tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern on SpeedGaming. Thunder, Burt right now is defending his hardcore title in a unstreamed race right now. So what's your plot to take down Burt tomorrow? How you gonna do
hope I get luckier than he does.
There you go. Better to be lucky than good.
Exactly.
So upcoming, starting on Monday, we talked a little bit about it. Rock Solid and I did. Rock Solid will be participating along with Dead Pulse, Fry Teeth, and almost 32 other ducklings, starting every Monday, January 18th, January 25th, February 1st, and February 4th at 9 p.m. Eastern. We have the Duck Derby. We're going to try to get as many of our ducks restreamed as possible. We're going to be running 3 restreams every night, or every Monday night. So one will be on SpeedGaming, one will be on Randomania, and RPG Limit Break will have the third. Going to be a lot of fun. Gregory Puff, Sir Link, Ale, Jat, done a great job organizing the Duck Derby behind the scenes, along with Danny and Dark Moon, doing sort of the administrative work behind it, with the race crew organizing the layouts that were designed. A lot of work went into it, so it's going to be a lot of fun to see the fruits of that labor in the coming weeks. And then finally, if you like this Double Dragon co-op action, we've got more coming on Thursday, the 21st of January at 9 p.m. Eastern on SpeedGaming Family Networks. Teamwork for Dummies, the rebranded upstarts, with their new member, Jat2980, teaming up with Gregory Puff to try to take down the Trash Island Treasure Hunting Unit and Lord Fizzlebeef and another Duckling Derby participant, Luffy DV, in their sort of rubber match. So Trash Island Treasure Hunting Unit took down Teamwork is for Dummies early on when Dangwoo was running. So Gregory Puff's like, Dangwoo, you can retire. I'm going to bring in Jet, give you a break, and we're going to try to take them on again. So last time they raced Vanilla, this time they're racing, I think, something that Fizzle did with maybe some help from one of the devs. So we'll see what that's all about. I don't know if he got his wish to come true, but it should be an interesting race. And again, that's Thursday, January 21st at 9 p.m. Eastern on SpeedGaming Family Network. So if you're interested in any of that, hop onto the Discord at FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. Get yourself the spectator role. You'll never miss a ping for a race. Rock Solid, I'll let you take us home, man. Thank you to
All right. Yes, Shadow Flames, our tracker. As always, we couldn't do this without the race crew, and Shadowed has been doing a fantastic job on Tricky Flag Set with floor and entrance shuffle. Always a tough time, but Shadowed making it look easy. So this has been a presentation of the Final Fantasy Randomizer community on SpeedGaming. If you enjoyed the show, follow the runners and consider checking us out on the Discord. We'd be happy to help you get started and learn the ropes and try the rando for yourself if you're interested in that. Thanks also to our broadcast partner, SpeedGaming, because we couldn't do the show without the stage. Caleb gave you a breakdown of the schedule. We've got all kinds of stuff happening this month, but if you want some more action right now, you can come check us out on the racetime.gg. We do have an Irongol Hardcore Championship Rumble going on right now, and you may be able to pick up a multi-stream on that. So that's going to do it for us. On behalf of my co-commentator, Caleb, and myself, RockSolid84, have yourselves a great night, everybody. And until next time, don't forget to go fast.